Hello everyone, this is part 1 of What If Deku Married Jirou, and this story is made by Charles Watch 220, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Kyoka Jirou scratched her head, growling in frustration as she tore a page out of her notepad, crumpled it up, and tossed it over her shoulder into the pile of another dozen or so pages. Having gotten through the majority of assignments for tomorrow's classes, she decided to write a song in her spare time, a slow rock ballad. Everything was going perfectly. At least writing on the music sheet was. Aside from several minor changes here and there after only half a dozen tests, her pencil was flying across the pages. However, her excitement died faster than Kaminari playing a console game online in PvP mode as she began writing the crucial part of a song to complement the music, lyrics. Every other sentence just crashed and burned. Come on, Kyoka. Moon. You've been playing music since your damn hands can reach around the entire neck of a guitar. Jirou racked her brains for another half an hour or so to no avail. Collecting the littered pieces of paper on the floor of her room, she stepped outside of her room in Heights Alliance to empty her trash can in the dumpster out back on the ground floor. Plus, the night air should do some good and hopefully would let some fresh idea flow into the brain. This sudden and severe case of Lyricist's block weighed heavily on her mind as she sighed, twirling her earphone jacks with her fingers. Leaving the Heights Alliance compound with the trash can of combustible waste, she jogged over to the dumpster behind the building when she heard a noise. Grunting, followed by a dull sound like a ball hitting a wall, hard. Having an acute sense of hearing as a part of her quirk, she stopped in her tracks, listening hard in order to assess the situation. It definitely was not an animal, which left her classmates and now dorm mates of 1A. But who the hell would be out and about this late at night? She knew she could rule out Ida and Yaoyorozu, or Yaomomo as some of her classmates now call her with affection, being the sticklers they were born to be. Uraraka is usually tucked out by this time of the day getting through assignments after being put through the ringer called hero course training exercises. Jirou shook her head. Process of elimination was not going to work. Steadying her breathing, she slowed her pace, inching towards the dumpster just around the corner. Peeking from there, she saw a figure in short pants and a hoodie, breathing hard. Judging by the grunts, it definitely was a boy. Bobbing and weaving, he unleashed a flurry of punches, followed up by a push kick, flying knee strikes and a right roundhouse, all aimed at a thick wooden post about 6 feet tall with a length of rope wrapped around it before he stepped back again, only to lunge forward with his left elbow held out. His right leg then snaked out, striking low, middle and high in rapid succession. Jirou winced, imagining what would happen if someone with a strength-enhancing quirk dished that out to someone. A concussion and bruised ribs were going to be the least of their worries. Then it hit her. It was so obvious who it was. The sneakers. They were high tops. Red high tops. The only person she knew with that kind of footwear was a classmate, the resident hero nerd who declared his hero name to be Deku, the green-haired Izuku Midoriya. Relaxing a bit upon finding out it wasn't some random prowler, Jirou stepped out from behind the corner. Hey, Midoriya. The hooded figure jerked his head around. Oh. Hi Jirou. His breathing was heavy. Dude, how are you not tired from today's training exercises? I'm just, it's a good sign, right? More stamina. What brings you back here? Emptying my trash out. Jirou answered, holding up the trash can. I suppose. How long have you been doing this? I took about half an hour to warm up, so, roughly an hour and a half now, I think. With breaks, right? No, actually. I might have kinda lost track of time. Sorta. Wah. Jirou was dumbstruck. She never really had any interaction with Izuku despite being in the same class, but she knew enough that he absolutely sucked at lying. An hour and a half of punches and kicks of that intensity without a single break. Izuku definitely was winded, his shoulders rising and falling with every breath, but he was still standing and looked like he could go on for another half an hour or so. Grabbing the towel hanging on a branch, he replaced it with the sweat-drenched sweatshirt. Wiping whatever sweat his sweatshirt and tank top failed to absorb, He guzzled about half the contents of a 2-liter Nalgene bottle before taking another long breath. Jirou definitely was no slouch when it came to physical confrontation. She had been in fights before during middle school, and even at UA she managed to survive the assault mounted by the League of Villains during the USJ incident and during the training camp with the Pussycats, albeit with backup. But this was just beyond anything she had put herself through. The intensity of the aura he exuded was indescribable. Shaking her head in amazement, she emptied her trash can, but as she got closer to him, she noticed something she failed to from afar. Midoriya, you're bleeding. And, wait, have you been crying? OWW. I was wondering why my legs and K-knuckles were stinging. I guess I didn't notice. Plus, it strengthens the bones and skin. If I end up fighting someone like Kirishima, it'll definitely help. You didn't answer my question. Don't worry about it, it's nothing. I'm fine. No, come on. Your eyes are red and puffy and you've bloodied your limbs to a goddamn pulp. That's no coincidence. It was just a bad dream that's gone on for a while and I couldn't sleep, okay? That's all it is. Stop fucking lying. You're no good at it. Jirou growled, the irritation from her lyricist's block taking over. Now spill. What the hell happened that's got you so worked up? I can't, okay. It's this incident involves more than just me. This isn't something I can just tell anyone without their permission. I could get in trouble. They could get in trouble. I appreciate your concern, Jirou, I really do, but this is something that I can't disclose or discuss with you. Izuku then collapsed to the ground, the fatigue finally catching up to him. Oh, God, no. Well, guess we're going to be here for a while then. Jirou said with a shrug and an evil smirk across her face. I just need to rest for 15 minutes and I'll walk back. Izuku mumbled. I doubt you can even crawl with those legs right now. Just tell me and I'll help you up. No. Alright, fine. See you at class tomorrow. If a raccoon or a possum doesn't give you rabies first. Wait, you're seriously going to leave me here? Like I said, tell me and I won't have to. Look, I'm not that good at reading people, but it doesn't take much to see that your nerves are clearly rattled. We're both trying to be heroes, that's why we're even here at UA. Heroes are supposed to help each other. Help me understand so I can help you. Jirou held out her hand. This was a last-ditch effort. If he still says no, then she definitely was going to leave him out here. It was his choice to come out here for this in the first place. He has nobody else to blame. After a long sigh and pause that lasted a solid 10 seconds, Izuku raised his arm as well while wincing. Grabbing his arm and pulling him up off the ground, Jirou realized she never really had a close look at Izuku before. He was about 5'5", a little on the shorter side for a teen boy his age, but his physique, which she can now see without the sweater, was on par with a professional gymnast. He was lean, toned, and if the high kicks that could reach above his head was any indication, very flexible. She couldn't really help but stare as the sweat-drenched tank top reinforced his developed muscles, but soon tore her eyes off of him as he managed to stand up. All right, I'll help you to the elevator, but do us both a favor and go take a shower first. I'll meet you down in the common room. Yeah, I will. Thanks. While she waited for him with the communal first aid kit as company on the couch, Jirou continued to ponder how the lyrics of her new ballad will go, but the lyricist's block remained persistent, firmly putting its foot down and impeding the rocker girl's creative endeavors. To make matters worse, the song was still untitled. Titles came to Jirou relatively quickly, usually during or before she even writes the lyrics, but this one was just not coming to her. Sorry to make you wait, Jirou. I was getting ice. It's fine. Come here. Hold out your hands. Please be gentle. Izuku whispered with a nervous smile as he saw Jirou soaking a piece of gauze with alcohol. Nah. With an evil smile, the stinging pain came, making Izuku mew in his throat as he gritted his teeth while Jirou callously and thoroughly disinfected the wounds. And, done. With a satisfactory nod at her handiwork of patching up Izuku, she leaned back onto the couch. Right. A deal's a deal, so I'll tell you, but Jirou, I need you to promise me that this conversation needs to be kept under wraps. I can't stress the importance of this enough. I'm not Mina or Kaminari, chill. My lips are sealed. Okay, Izuku huffed, taking several deep breaths as he mentally prepared himself. You remember the incident at the training camp when the League of Villains attacked, right? Yeah. One of the nightmares, I was fighting one of the villains on my own. Muscular. And I lost. I watched him as he killed Kota with his bare hands. Again and again. Then the other one is about the incident at Hosu with the hero killer. Right. Endeavor saved your skin along with Ida and Todoroki's, right. Not to be a dick, but that was a while ago. Let me finish. That's what the media says, but it's not true. Not entirely. Huh, you don't say. The fact is, Ida, Todoroki and I took him on to cover a wounded pro hero. What? Ida first found him, I tracked him down, then called for help and Todoroki showed up. Endeavor came only after we barely beat him. The burn marks were from when he tried to escape. The Hosu City police chief decided to not publicize what we did out of gratitude and respect for stopping him. I've recently been having nightmares about how the fight in the alleyway went with him. He hugged his knees against him tightly, keeping his tremble to a bare minimum. He was so powerful, even without taking his quirk into account. The only reason we barely won was more or less sheer dumb luck. Every dream, I would make a mistake, a fatal one. And Ida would die. Todoroki would die. I would die. From a knife throw, a stab wound, a spiked boot to the throat and such. And every time, I'm helpless because I can't move. Even when they're all within arm's reach. They all died. I mean, I did my best to learn from my mistakes, but you still think you just might encounter that figurative landmine again at some point and you'll freeze up and actually fuck up. Yeah. And when I have that dream, I can't go back to sleep. So I try to physically tire myself out. Which is why I was doing what I was doing when you saw me. Jirou chewed on her lower lip, trying to digest everything that she just heard. She had heard about him getting grievously injured every now and then because he couldn't get a grip on the power output of his quirk, but this just puts the matter in an entirely different complexion. He fought the hero killer. The hero killer who had put dozens of pro heroes and their sidekicks in ICU and the morgue. This was some heavy baggage that would put the heaviest bass track to shame. Holy fuck, man. Now it makes sense. So yeah, this is why I looked her out of it every now and then. Like I said. I know. Keep it under heavy wraps. You have my word, my lips are sealed. I won't breathe a word of this. I wouldn't want the karma of causing the expulsion of a classmate on my soul. Izuku frowned. Since when do you believe in karma? I don't, dummy. It's just an expression. You might want to talk to Recovery Girl about that and get some meds if it's really bad. I really hope it doesn't come to that. Can I ask you something? Shoot. What are you doing up so late? You're not really an early riser. I've seen you yawning a lot in the mornings. Wait, how do you know that? Jirou frowned. It's not like I'm, stalking you or anything. Izuku began waving his bandaged hands, turning away from Jirou in a sudden panic as he continued to explain himself through stutters. Just that, I just see you out of the corner of my eye every now and then and you happen to be yawning every time. Oh, well, it's not that big of a reason. I've currently hit a lyricist's block. What's that? You know what a writer's block is, don't ya? Yeah. I have the music down, but I just can't come up with words. It's so fucking frustrating. I can't even come up with a title for it. Sounds like you've fallen out of favor with the muses. Oh shut up, you All Might fanboy. Hey, leave All Might out of this. But seriously, you might wanna do something different. Different how? And don't tell me to scrap this and start over. No. I mean, listen to other genres of music that's not rock. Like what? You clearly have more friends than I do. Ask for suggestions. You honestly think I didn't try any of that? It's not working. It usually goes away in less than 3 days, but it's been a whole fucking week. Jirou threw her hands up in anger. But then, she suddenly had an idea. It wasn't something she would usually do, but she was itching to blast the lyricist's block to oblivion, and maybe a little something that was unbecoming of her is exactly how to regain the favor of the muses. Wait, I might have an idea, but I'll need your help. Okay. Care to elaborate? I've got a quirk that can deal with enemies at midrange and track movement via hearing, but my actual combat skills at close range is, still a little sloppy. I got some pointers from the office I interned at and I'm getting more from Yaomomo and Uraraka here, but I wanna be able to integrate my quirk to actual combat. So, I want your help with that. Me. Izuku squeaked. You're the only All Might fanboy here right now with me. But, I mean, I'm flattered that you'd ask me for advice. I'm not saying that I don't want to help you, but there's Jirou who's been doing karate since he was in elementary school. Kirishima's a tough-in fighter. You're the one with all those notes about us, so I figured you'd have the best answers. Come on, please. I need this Lyricist's block gone ASAP. I will owe you big time for this. Okay, it's the least I can do. But seriously, you don't need to do me any favors. Alright, Jirou grinned, so we'll use tomorrow after classes and plan from there. Thanks a lot. Night. Yeah, sure thing. Good night. Izuku sat on the couch for a bit as he heard the elevator ding once, and ding once more as it stopped at the girls' floor. Oh my god, what the hell have I gotten myself into? But at this point, he was too tired and sore to think about it, much less care. Standing up with a groan, he dragged himself back to his room with a slightly lighter heart and a weak but genuine smile. Hey, Jirou, some of the girls and I are planning a little afternoon movie party tonight. Wanna come with? I actually have plans. With Midoriya. The second Ashido had comprehended the words that came out of Jirou's lips, she immediately rushed her with a big crazy smile on her face. What? A date? With Midoriya? And you didn't tell me. WHO asked WHO out. Where are you going and when? Details. Gimme. Now. First off, personal space. Second, yes, with Midoriya. I didn't stutter. And no, it's not a date. He's just giving me a couple pointers on some hand-to-hand. He's got notes covering all of us, so I figured he was the best person in our class to talk to. It's just a favor being returned, nothing like what you're thinking, so cool your jets, Pinky. It's only logical thinking. She gave a reassuring wink to Uraraka that nothing was going on between the ultimate All Might fanboy and her, to which the brunette responded by whipping her head in the other direction as she began blushing through her hands. Let me know later how it goes, Kay. Remember, I want details. All of it. It's not a date, damn it. Training room theater was just a large, padded room with a high ceiling. There were over 50 white rings with a 10-meter radius printed on the ground in 5-meter increments. The edges of the room were lined with an assortment of punching bags, speed bags, pull-up bars, kettlebells, disc weights, striking posts and mock weapons of various shapes and sizes. Opening the door, she saw Izuku in gym shorts and a t-shirt already getting some work done via shadow boxing. His movements were so smooth which she never noticed last night. The transition from one attack to the next to a dodge, a sweep kick, a roll just, glided together so naturally like a stream of water. It was sharp and graceful, almost like he was dancing. She whistled to get his attention. Oh, hey, you made it. Course I made it, no point in you being here if I didn't show up. So, how are we doing this? Well, let's work up a sweat first. Alrighty then. What are we doing? Izuku simply handed a piece of paper with a list of calisthenics complete with repetitions and sets to her. You're kidding, right? Jirou looked at Izuku with a hopeful eye, the corner of her mouth twitching with dread. I suck at lying, remember. It took no longer than 20 minutes out of the 40-minute warm-up Izuku put her through before she was on the floor, red in the face and gasping for air. Oh. Fucking hell. Crap. You okay, Jirou? Midoriya, I fucking hate you right now. What? Why? You wanted my help. Yeah, I know. I'm just spiting you, sue me. Now help me up. She held out her hand for Izuku to take. Very slowly and carefully, Izuku reached out with both hands and gently pulled Jirou to her feet. Her fingers were long and slender, nails well kept which complemented her pale skin. He immediately released her hand from his grip once she was upright and on her feet. Okay, now, we'll go to the bags. Yeah, bags. Punching bags. Jirou followed Izuku as he took hurried steps scratching his head. Show me your best stance you would take if you were in a fist fight. Following his words, Jirou turned her body to the right, drew her chin in and brought her fists up at eye level, her right fist covering the temple and everything below while her left hovered the width of 2 fists away. It was the best she could replicate from a boxing video on YouTube. She began hopping on the balls of her feet. Okay, great. Tuck your elbows in a little more. Now what? Now, punch, kick, headbutt, whatever you know how to do. For how long? Let's say 3 minutes for now. Jirou immediately went to work. Starting off with simple jabs, she moved on to the 1-2s, body shots, push kicks and whatever else she could remember. The bag was heavy and she had no protective gear, which made her take more care than usual in her form. As the clock ran out, Izuku began his usual mumbling again. Dude, hey, stop that shit. Timer went off. Wah. Oh, great. There I go again, so sorry. It's a bad habit I have. Sorry. Good news is, I think I can help you. Awesome. Hey, what was that you were doing last night? I think I've seen that fighting style before. Oh, well, that was based off of something that was written by a hero a long time ago. The Muay Thai hero known as Broken Sword. One of his sons took up the mantle recently. Polls say he's ranked number 2 in terms of having the best smile. The number 1 place for best smile naturally belonged to All Might. Oh yeah, that's what it was. That's what I'm going to be learning. More incorporating and making it suit your style than learning, but yeah. My style focuses more on using my legs than arms, but you can round yourself well if you can incorporate your quirk attacks into it. Like when you clinch and your opponent tries to wrestle you down, you can use your jacks to create an opening. Or a sound wave followed by a knee kick. Oh yeah, I'm already excited. The endless possibilities made Jirou smile. Let's not get too excited. Your legs are still stiff. None of your kicks went above your chest height. What, if you're trying to get me to do a perfect split like Mina? No. Of course not, that'll take way too long to achieve. Even I can't do that. Just flexible enough that your head touches your knees and your palms are flat on the ground when you bend down from a standing position. Still sounds like a long road. Since when is becoming a hero easy? Touché. What do I do now? Let's balance out your kicking technique with punching for now as much as we can. Let's start with a push kick. Bring your guard up a little higher. Yeah, like that. The point of impact is the ball of your foot and make sure your knee is above the waist before you kick. Keep going until you compromise form. Using a padded section of the wall, they began. The training went on for about 2 hours with 5-minute breaks after every half an hour or so, each half hour focusing on a single kick and how to counter them until Jirou couldn't even stand. She found out the hard way that while Izuku certainly took care without leaving much possibility for an accidental injury to happen, he had quite high standards for himself, and while he didn't impose them, he still managed to encourage her to strive for perfection. Oh man, my legs, we'll be done in 5 minutes. Now that you know the push kick, knee kick, middle and low roundhouses, mix it into your punches however you like. 2, 3, fine. I got this, I think. And, go. 1-2, roundhouse, double jab, cross, left hook, low kick. Everything was coming together seamlessly, her mind putting the moves in a sequence like the notes on her recent edition of sheet music. 3 minutes passed in what felt to be a mere third of that for Jirou. Done. Great job on your first day. I brought some poultice if you need it. I definitely needed it for the first few weeks. Damn Midoriya, you really think of everything, don't you? Jirou chuckled, lying flat on the floor. Izuku just gave a bashful shrug in response as she sank down to the floor, arms and legs outstretched. Do you mind doing it for me? Wah, I can't lift my arms, dummy. You're the one that ran me rugged, so you're taking full responsibility for my physical well-being, damn it. You're sure about that? Yeah, you're the only one here and my arms are too sore to lift. And don't you even think about ditching me here. Right, of course. But, I mean, Izuku's eyes flicked from Jirou's smooth, toned legs to her face nervously, the red in his face increasing steadily. Come on, doesn't it, bother you? Letting me do this? Well now it does since you brought it up. It's fine. Just do it. Okay, Izuku whispered, steadying his breath as if he were about to disarm a bomb rigged with a string of booby traps about to go off in a matter of minutes. He started at the calves, placing 2 on each with trembling fingers, taking care not to leave a wrinkle when applying them. Then came the challenge, her slender, milky white thighs. Why you still want me to continue? Look, I'm not gonna bite. You'll know if you did something wrong when you have a jack in your eye. Continue. He knew she would do it too without hesitation, especially since she has a prior with Mineta, the resident pervert of 1A. Alright, here we go. Slowly pushing her violet gym shorts up, Izuku peeled the plastic pieces off the adhesive side of the poultice and slowly placed one down several inches above her knees. He did so as gently as possible, like with her calves, but Jirou still let out a small grunt in pain. 2 more to go on each side. Izuku couldn't help but look away in embarrassment as he pulled her gym shorts up further along, revealing more of her thighs. His heart rate was going through the roof as he silently prayed for a heart attack or for this dream to end, whichever came faster. Midoriya, in case you've forgotten, we're burning daylight and we have a curfew. It's gonna hurt either way, so hurry up. I'm gonna apologize in advance, Jirou. Her thighs stung, and felt her body being rolled over onto her stomach as another 2 poultices were applied on her hamstrings. Done. There we go, holy crap. Jesus. Izuku lay down on the ground as well, the ordeal of resisting his hormones finally won. Her soaked purple hair reflecting the LED from the ceiling, rosy cheeks, thin lips, the slender, delicate curves of her body line, and her husky, heavenly voice that not even fatigue seemed to be able to compromise. That was something that will be keeping him up more than the nightmare in more ways than one. Hey, how's your schedule looking this weekend? Stretches, shadow boxing and running tomorrow, and I just stretch and rest on Sundays. Why? I'm thinking I wanna keep doing this. If you can spare the time, of course. Okay, as long as you know you're basically asking a half-blind novice to lead you. Come on, you're doing fine. Dumb it down anymore and even Kaminari in jamming Ye mode won't even be able to comprehend it. Plus, she had just come up with the perfect first verse for her still unnamed ballad a few seconds ago. Sue, how'd it go? Mina asked with a sly grin in the common room with the other girls at night. He just showed me basic punches and kicks and we did repetitions of that to help me perfect form and technique. What more do you want me to say? Jirou said flatly, twirling a pen in between her fingers as she nodded at the first verse on her notepad with several words crossed out and replaced. Finally the lyricist's block was caving in a little. Come on, you can't actually mean you didn't feel anything between you and Midoriya. Ashido, private interaction between members of the opposite sex does not automatically necessitate a connection to a romantic liaison. Yaoyorozu interjected with a slight, disapproving frown. She does have a point there, Ashido. There's nothing wrong with a platonic relationship between a boy and a girl, right? Oh. Like you haven't been stealing glances at Todoroki every now and then, Yaomomo. I've seen you. Why I have never. Yeah you have. Ribbit. Asui interjected with a slight giggle. Remember the home economics class when Todoroki cut his finger open trying to peel carrots with a knife? You panicked and fussed over him like a mother would with a small child. Oh, yeah, that did happen. Jirou agreed absent-mindedly without even looking up, making Yaoyorozu blush a crimson hue deeper than her hero costume. And you, Uraraka, are frustrating the hell out of me. Girl, you need to assert yourself. But, shush, no buts. Even a ditz can see that you're clearly head over heels for him. Besides, Jirou quietly left the common room before Pinky began her hour-long tirade about asserting herself and make a pass at Izuku if she wants him to even acknowledge the fact that she likes him as more than just a friend. But her words did leave Jirou something to think about. The first verse came to her immediately after the training with him, like the block didn't exist for those moments. But then again, this was probably the first time they actually even had a full-blown conversation that didn't just end with exchanging pleasantries with each other. It was just a coincidence due to radical change of pace. Nothing more. Jirou made it a habit to sleep in during the weekends because, well, it was the weekends. A moment of peace, quiet and quality me time to get the fatigue of the last 5 days out of the system. But today, at around 9 a.m., she was out and about at the municipal beach park in Mustafu that had been mysteriously cleaned by somebody from one end to the other. As she was stretching, she heard a heavy thud, a grunt and crunching sound a little ways off. Izuku was shaking the sand out of his hair and dusting himself off. It didn't take long to realize that he had just jumped from the street off the railings down to the sand when there was a perfectly functional, not to mention infinitely safer, set of stairs right there. Did you really have to jump off? I'm practicing to break my fall. Parachutists do it when they land and it reduces the impact to about 20% of what it should be if they just landed feet first. Even without using my quirk, I could jump off the 3rd floor and survive with some bruising. Theoretically. You know what? I'm not going to get sucked into this. Can we start running? Sure. With that, they both took off with a slow jog. Being the one with the longest stride due to the height difference, Izuku was running several steps ahead of her. With a frown, Jirou upped her pace, catching up to him. But it was only a matter of minutes before she was left behind again. Damn it, Midoriya, how the hell are you going so fast in the sand? You use your toes. Kick really hard. He answered, taking a brief stop as he ran in place. Toes? Okay. Toes. Swinging her arms more as she kicked the sand back with her toes as much as her still sore legs allowed, she moved forward. She didn't feel too much of a difference, but at the very least was no longer falling any further behind. Maintaining this pace for some time now, Jirou's mind wandered yet again back to her nameless ballad, now with the first verse. Why? Oh, why do you hide them? Why? Those scars and bruises, both new and old. Covering your body, shattering your heart. Some healing, some old, but the bleeding don't stop. But I can tell, I just know it, they sting and ache all the same. It's okay, you say. With that smile and that laugh. It's genuine, I know, but cracked. Chipping here, now there. See, abrasions everywhere. Jagged tears just spread further like a spider web. But you press on and on. Always forward, you say. Wait a minute. Wait just a goddamn minute. Jirou realized a possibility that she could not help but consider about the lyrical content and who it was pointing towards. Scars, bruises, always smiling, hiding them until it got forced out of him. It was none other than the very guy that was running ahead of her. Oh, holy fucking shit. Ignoring the dull pain shooting up her legs sporadically, she increased her speed, raising her legs higher, kicking the sand harder, faster. Oh, god damn it, no. Apparently Izuku heard her footsteps as he shifted gears, now going at a full sprint as he kicked up a cloud of sand and charging across the shoreline. With his small but powerful lungs inhaling oxygen coursing power through his muscles, he maintained a steady pace for several minutes, bounding across the sand before slowing down again, remembering to pace himself. Now being able to take the time to look over his shoulder, he did, only to see Jirou still far off in the distance, who was moving her legs furiously in her attempt to catch up. Oh, crap, I did it again. Turning around, he jogged back towards her. Sorry, about this, ugh. No. Why, you have no reason to apologize. I'm the one that got carried away, kept charging ahead and left you behind when I'm supposed to be helping you. Even an amateur knows not to ditch a workout buddy. I promise I'll keep pace with you next time, Jirou. I'm so sorry. Oh, you think there's a next time? Well, I mean, if you don't want to, I'm not going to. I'm kidding, hero nerd. Yes, I definitely want a next time, learning conditioning and recovery tips and such that are, septic, I mean effective and efficient. Jirou kicked herself mentally. First the lyrics and now stumbling over her words like the green nerd boy. She was digging herself into her own grave with this. Well, we're warmed up and worked up a sweat now, so let's stretch. Just follow my movements. And there aren't any perfect splits. The stretches were a mix of regular stretching to limber up as well as some yoga moves that he undoubtedly picked up from a book or another pro hero. Jirou sighed comfortably as she felt the tension in her legs cause pain but slowly dissipate through the stretch. They started walking back as a means of cooling down. Okay, we get back to where we started and we do shadow now. Yeah, but I can readjust if you're still too sore and... No, you know better than me about fighting up close and personal, so just, don't worry about me. I'll let you know if it gets bad. Okay, sure. They walked in silence for a while. The rhythmical sound of the waves and their sneakers crunching on the beach were the only things that were constant. While doing his best to keep a straight face, Izuku was going insane with worry in his mind. He was absolutely horrible at small talk unless it involved quirks, their applications, pro-heroes and other things that he had a vast amount of knowledge of. Anything else was just barely mediocre at best. Oh, by the way. How's the the lyricist's block going? It's Jirou was at a loss of words for a second before coming up with, going. It left for a bit and came back again. Sort of. There was no way in hell she could tell her the verse ended up being about him. While she wasn't one that was big on small talk, long and heavy awkward silences were equally detestable. That's weird. What makes you say that? I dunno, how do I say this? Just seems like B blocks like that go away for a while after you get over it, and it's coming back like a persistent cold. Not really sure what causes it, but I hope you get over it soon. You and me both, Midoriya. You and me both. And here we are, back where we started. Do your shadow boxing however you feel like. Whatever floats your boat. And so they did, with Izuku adopting a defensive, kick-oriented style to further complement his shoot style, while Jirou focused on aggressive punches and knees. She struggled every now and then, wavering and losing her footing due to the constantly uneven footing. That and the connection between the lyrics and her perception of Midoriya kept her mind wandering elsewhere. It couldn't possibly mean anything, could it? Besides, they had really actively associated with each other for a mere day and a little bit. They still barely know each other. Life isn't a romantic comedy, ipso facto those lyrics coming out was a coincidence. But was it really? Those words, each expression, the diction, denotation, connotation, how it rolled off the tongue, everything came together so unnervingly well. And it all spoke so true. Jirou stole a glance at the shadow boxing Midoriya, nimbly bobbing and weaving as he dished out kicks against an imaginary opponent, probably Bakugo, parrying punches, blocking kicks, and unleashing a devastating switch kick of his own that was bound to shatter a rib or three. But despite the intensity, there was no amount of killer intent like the roid-raging King Explosion murder had about him as naturally as the clothes he wore. There was a genuine aura of selfless determination, dedicating his every fiber of his existence to becoming a hero that allows him to naturally extend a hand to anybody within his reach. His hand. It immediately brought her back to the incident at Training Room Theater where Izuku was pulling her gym shorts up to apply the poultice on her legs. His forcibly steady breathing and coarse but careful fingers tickled. She was nervous as hell, almost like she was about to. Jirou, heads up. Before she could realize what to look out for, Izuku's scar-riddled right arm was about half a foot away from her face, his fingers latched around a basketball. Sorry, a child's voice called out from above. My hand slipped. Bounce it at a park next time and not on the sidewalk, okay? Izuku did his best to toss the ball up to him and the boy grabbed it by his fingertips, holding it against his chest. Okay, sorry, thank you, bye, watch out for cars. You okay, Jirou? Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Jirou mumbled, her cheeks flushing, turning her head in an attempt to hide her face away from his field of vision. That's one save I managed to not miss so far, I guess. MMHMM. Jirou, you okay? Are you, not feeling well? Dehydrated or something? No, I'm alright. Oh, wait, it's past noon. Let's get back to the dorms, shower, and we'll eat back there. Come on. She had to lead him on a goose chase for a while, at least until the blushing subsided, or until she found a bathroom to splash some cold water on her face. Hey, wait for me. Yo Midoriya, my man. Izuku felt a strong right arm drape over his shoulder when he set foot in the common room. It belonged to the spiky, red-haired Eiichiro Kirishima who possessed a quirk of hardening, rendering him invulnerable to various physical attacks. Oh, hey. What's the matter, Kirishima? You look a lot more cheerful than usual. Dude, come on, don't play dumb. I saw you on your date with Jirou. Izuku nearly jumped out of his own skin at Kirishima's erroneous observation. War a date. What? No. That wasn't anything like what you're thinking at all. I swear. It wasn't. Oh really? Kirishima said with a toothy grin. Then how are ya gonna explain Jirou bursting in through the front door 10 minutes ago, hiding her face that was most likely red to the point that her ears were the same color? Well, I don't. Hey, Come on, no need to be shy. I gotta admit I was surprised since I've never seen you two hang before, but tell you what, I'm definitely digging it. Wait, you said you saw us. Aha, with my own two eyes under the sun. When and where, exactly? Municipal Beach Park. My folks live around Mustafa and I went to school there before you, FYI. I was picking some stuff up from home. You fended off a stray basketball from clocking Jirou upside the head. Now that was manly. Oh, come on, it was a basketball, not a potted plant or a heavy box. It could have been some douchebag flinging down a wet sponge for all I care. That's beside the point. It's your thought that counts. Alright, fine. I'll take the compliment, but it wasn't a date. Okay, it's not, it isn't what you think. I was just giving her some pointers on fighting hand to hand and mixing it up with quirk attacks. Just friendly advice from one classmate to another. That's it, okay. Alright, fine. Whatever you say, man. And please don't tell anyone that you saw us there. I can already imagine the mayhem that'll unfold. Hey, look, one man to another, I'll keep my mouth shut. On my honor, you have my word. I've never grassed anyone up before. Thank you so much, Kirishima. I'm heading to the shower now. Alright, take care, man. As he saw Izuku disappear behind the elevator door, Kirishima's toothy smile of sharp teeth widened. I'll keep my mouth shut, but ya never said anything about her. Sue, I heard from a little red robin that you and Lil Green Bean was out at the beach park in Mustafa. Ashido sprang the topic on her as she was about to enter her room after a relaxing hot shower. What? Jirou felt her blood freeze. How did Ashido know? Midoriya was not the type to tell anyone about something like this, he had no motive. Which left only one logical, horrifying explanation. You saw me there. Yep, she grinned slyly, and he protected you from that horrible basketball of doom. How chivalrous of the knight in shining armor. Oh, hark the gallantry. She clasped her hands together, raising her voice an octave with a ridiculous flair and a bad English accent like she was in a Shakespearean play. Hilarious. And it was a basketball, not a stray bullet. Girl, that could have been a live grenade for all I care. It's his general concern for your well-being that counts. Appreciate that. You two don't really have anything in common, you don't interact in class or out, and now you're suddenly hanging together out of the blue. Can you really blame me for making that logical leap? Especially after seeing what I saw. Gah, I guess not. But seriously, no joke, not a date, no matter how much you wanna force that into reality. One classmate being a good Samaritan to another, that's it. Alright, so keep your mouth shut. I'm actually enjoying hand to hand and I think I'm getting the hang of it. Don't make me use it on you in class on Monday. Whoa, hey, easy, Jack. Girl to girl, your secret's safe with me. One can only hope. Oh, and if somehow someone other than Midoriya or you knows about the beach park, I'm holding you accountable. And you will pay dearly. Well, Ashido could tell her friend wasn't kidding. And she didn't even want to begin imagining what she would do. Someone actually already knows, but I never told anyone. Kirishima saw it too. She squealed quickly as a pair of earphone jacks came flying into her face, stopping mere inches away. I'll talk to him later. But seriously, not a damn word. Got it. With that, Jirou shut the door to her room before getting an answer. She flumped down on the bed where her notepad lay, open to the page with the first verse to her unnamed rock ballad. Her hand inched towards a pen, but her other hand held it back. No, if she wrote any more, then, it may very well confirm something she didn't want to know. She doesn't need this. Not here, not now. But her instincts as a musician were screaming at her, write the next verse, bitch, write it. Growling in frustration, she tore at her still damp hair with both hands, rolling around on the mattress. Her hand grabbed a blue pen. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Half an hour later, Jirou looked down in anger and embarrassment at a newly composed verse of her song. When will you stop, when? Trapping all your fear, doubt and pain in your head. They're eating you up from the inside out. And you're bursting at the seams. The times you're safe and sound is only in my dreams. It's okay, you say. With that smile and that laugh. But oh no, you don't know it's a shattered one at that. All I see is a hero, hanging by a thread. But a hero also needs his time to take his rest. Yet you press on and on. Always forward, you say. No. No 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 no. No. Fuck. What the fuck is this even? These sound like mushy Valentine poems that would come up at least once in those trashy romance novels that Hagakure would like. She didn't know whether to be impressed at her own audacity or to laugh at her own stupidity for producing these lyrics. But yet again, her gut was telling her to leave it alone. In the context of music, it was right 70% of the time. And although it took every last bit of willpower to not ask Todoroki or Ashido to utterly demolish this page, she left it alone, storming off to the rooftop with some extra credit assignments that Present Mic and Ectoplasm handed out. Although she had no recollection as to what she did to deserve this kind of ordeal, maybe it was time to start believing in karma. Izuku stared up at the ceiling of his dorm room, his sanctum, his shrine adorned with All Might memorabilia in every nook and cranny. Something was clearly not right. He didn't interact with Jirou at all, with no common ground aside from aspiring to become heroes and being in the same class. And yet he was opening up to her about his fears, helping her with combat training. What the hell was happening to him? Izuku knows himself well, at least he'd like to think as such. This wasn't him. He was the stereotypical, socially awkward kid, although that has improved somewhat since enrolling in UA, and wouldn't talk to just anyone about his problems, particularly ones that are deep-seated in his heart. That is, aside from All Might or his mother Inko, although that's becoming a rare occurrence in and of itself since, although rightfully so, she worries too much. And yet he just told Jirou. It made him feel better. Regardless of the strain caused by the training, he had fun helping her train. He genuinely had fun. Plus, he slept well with no nightmares afterwards. Getting out of bed to stretch the soreness out of his body, he looked at his phone on the desk, charging. All his classmates' contact information was on there, including Jirou's. Today was what Izuku considers his rest day, doing stretches and light calisthenics but nothing else except ingest a hefty amount of proteins to repair the damaged muscles. With Jirou, as per her request. Again. Could it be possible that maybe, just maybe, he was developing feelings for her? But Izuku soon shook that utterly ridiculous notion out of his head. Not that she isn't an attractive girl, she is, with a great quirk and musical talent that would put a smile on anyone's face, who somehow just by being there suppresses his nervousness and stammering considerably. But this wasn't the time or place for that sort of thing. Anyone in their right mind would think so if they enrolled in UA. Romance and such can happen later. He had priorities and promises to keep, which undoubtedly Jirou has a fair share of as well. Changing into some sweatpants and a t-shirt, Izuku went downstairs to grab some breakfast. Most of his classmates were there already, watching TV, conversing with each other, catching up on assignments or eating. Hey, Kirishima, you mind passing an apple? No prob, Midoriya. Which one? Wait, let me guess. Green. Yup. Kirishima tossed a green apple from the communal fruit bowl on the kitchen counter, which Izuku caught with his left hand. With some peanut butter and the smoothie he made last night and stashed in the fridge, breakfast was served. Nobody was asking questions. That was a good sign. With a sigh of relief, he took a swig of the smoothie and chomped down on the apple. Figuring Jirou was still sleeping in, he ate in silence. His phone vibrated in his pocket briefly, signaling a message had been received. We still on for recovery methods? It was Jirou. We are, unless something came up on your end. I doubt anything will on a Sunday, but I'll keep you posted. Are we doing this at the beach again? It doesn't have to be. Did you have another place in mind? Just asking. Can we do this on the rooftop if possible? I already ate and I'm up here, so let me know whenever you're ready. Sure. This can be done literally anywhere. I'll be up in about half an hour. Finishing up with the apple, he quickly washed the glass he used for the smoothie and put it on the drying rack before hurriedly going towards the elevator. Jirou was sitting cross-legged, strumming some chords on an acoustic guitar as she hummed a tune to herself. Izuku wasn't particularly an aficionado with music or partial to a certain genre, but he couldn't help but listen intently through the slightly ajar door. He had no idea what she was playing, but it was beautiful. She was beautiful. That calm, relaxed atmosphere around her, the slight smile, graceful fingers delicately dancing across the fretboard, everything. Although Izuku wouldn't dare say it out loud, not to anyone. Oh my god, what is this? Izuku muttered, covering his red-hot face with his hands. Get a hold of yourself, Izuku Midoriya, and get your head on straight. You're training to be a hero. That has always been first and foremost. It's only been 3 days or so since you've actually even talked to this person, and you're suddenly falling for them. Life wasn't a comic book, ergo it's impossible. There was no way. Besides, Izuku didn't really consider himself to be a significant figure. Not like Todoroki or Ida. Hell, even goofballs like Kaminari had more personality than him. It wouldn't make sense for her to reciprocate feelings like that to someone so bland. Now pity. That would make more sense. Yes, that must be it. But why would she pity someone she barely even knew? That makes even less sense now. Then. Dude, you plan on mumbling at that wall for another half an hour, or are we gonna do this? Izuku screamed as he felt a finger poke at his back. Oh, it's you, right, rooftop. Holy crap. Yeah. Oh, of course you're HHE here. Sorry about that. I was, well, caught up in my thoughts. Yeah, caught up in my thoughts. I heard you the first time, Midoriya, Jirou chuckled, tilting her head towards the door. Come on. God, she was beautiful. Sunday is rest day, you said. What do you do? Well, lots of stretching, 3 times a day for about 15 minutes, and a hefty amount of protein intake. And meditating for about 20 minutes. Meditating. You're kidding, right? I suck at lying, remember. You're really not letting that go, are you? Okay, how do I do this? Izuku sat down on the ground with his legs crossed and motioned Jirou to do the same. With his upward-facing palms on his knees, he closed his eyes and began. Focus on your breathing. Imagine that's the only sound in the world that matters. Not really being used to sitting still for extended amounts of time, Jirou struggled at first. Izuku, who somehow noticed this with his eyes closed, provided further advice. Imagine you're breathing not just through your nose or mouth but with your entire body, through the skin. As she followed his instructions, Jirou slowly felt every amount of tension in her body coming loose, her body drifting off like a balloon in the air, guided by the carefree wind. It was a strange sensation, with her brain in that fuzzy area between consciousness and unconsciousness, her sense of time fading out along with every worry that has been on her plate. Once the timer went off, Jirou was jolted back into reality, slightly discombobulated but inexplicably refreshed. Stretching her back and neck out, she stood up. Wow, that was, actually pretty nice. Focusing on zoning out was, well, new. I kinda like it. Great. So, what are you planning to do now? I think I might wanna work on that song lyric a little more. Jirou replied, and she meant it. It may not come out to be in the way I want it to or need it to, but I still feel responsible to see that it gets finished and runs its course. Sounds like you have your day cut out for you. Hey, would you be willing to keep helping me with combat training a little more? If you can spare the time, I mean. Jirou saw Izuku's face light up with joy, and upon seeing him nod with a big smile, her heart did a sharp, half leap in her chest. Closing the gap between him in 2 strides, she reached up, gave him a quick smooch on the cheek before heading downstairs with her guitar. Izuku stood there like a statue in utter catatonic shock, the area where Jirou's lips touched him still freshly throbbing, but only in the most delightfully elating way imaginable. Several hours had elapsed before Ida and several other male students of 1A came looking for him, worried about his absence. It took Todoroki stuffing a block of ice down the back of his shirt and a hard slap to the back of the head from a sugar-doped Satu to finally break the spell. Midoriya, be straight with me. What the hell happened? Todoroki asked, after more or less dragging Izuku to his Japanese-style room, sitting him down and placing a cup of tea in front of him. You were up there for several hours. It's well, how do I say this? I was, meditating. Yeah, and I lost track of time. Todoroki crossed his arms. He wasn't convinced. Meditating while standing up turns you into a red-faced catatonic. No, then what? I honestly thought something happened to you. It was a false alarm, but still. I won't force the issue, but just know that I am concerned. You have been kind of out of it for some time now. Izuku scratched his head and nodded with a smile, grateful for his friend's genuine worry. He wasn't the type of guy that would blab. Besides, they had fought each other, came to an understanding, and survived death together several times. Taking a deep breath, Izuku spoke. Yeah, about that. I was having nightmares. About what happened in that alleyway, the training camp. I thought I'd gotten over it, but I thought wrong. It's been happening for several times now and I'm a light sleeper So that's what the bandages are from. Tiring yourself out to go to sleep again. Todoroki's unblinking heterochromatic eyes shifted its gaze to Izuku's bandaged hands. He was quite perceptive when he chose to be. Yeah. And, well, Jirou saw me, and I told her about what actually happened with the hero killer incident. You did what? I'm sorry. My mind wasn't in a good place, I had to tell someone. She won't tell anyone, I swore her to secrecy. I was just surprised, not angry. Don't apologize for that. I trust you, you're a good judge of character for the most part. We may be semi-pros now, but we're still kids in the end. Being afraid for your life is just instincts of self-preservation kicking in, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Sorry, keep going. I've been helping Jirou with combat training and some techniques on efficient recovery after workouts for the last few days and we met up on the rooftop to do some meditation. After we finished, Yeah. Todoroki waited patiently. She kissed me. Izuku mumbled, taking a sip of tea. Oh, that was why. Oh, okay, I see. Huh. Todoroki merely raised an eyebrow, nodding slightly several times before taking a long sip from his cup as well. What made her do that? What did you do to her? I don't know and I didn't do anything, that I know of, with intention. Izuku said, almost like he was on trial, squirming uncomfortably. Sarah, Todoroki, where exactly do I go from here? Midoriya, as much as I want to help you with a lot of things, you're asking the wrong guy. I've never had a girlfriend in my life, you know that right? But I mean, come on. You said you have female siblings. Older ones. Can't you at least give me half a frame of reference? No, he answered flatly before refilling his cup with the clay pot. But Jirou, I'm thoroughly surprised as you were with this crazy turn of events. Well, that too, but I was under the impression that you had a thing for Uraraka. Wait, what? Why you bringing her into this? I'm just saying. I don't mean anything by it. She and Ida hang around together a lot, but I know for a fact that those two aren't and won't be an item. I don't know what to think anymore. Should I even ask her why she did that in the first place? You're one of the most level-headed strategists of our class. I have faith you'll figure something out. Izuku scratched his head as he finished the tea. I certainly hope so. Thanks for the tea and everything else. If you wanna talk at all, well, you know where I live. Jirou groaned into her pillow, her face burning with the intensity of Endeavor's hellflame and red as her bedding. Things couldn't have gone any more wrong on the rooftop. She kissed him. Only on the cheek for a split second, but no matter how she twisted it, a kiss was still a kiss. Her toes had officially crossed that line. She could have said that it was a kind of kiss that are exchanged between friends or family like they do in America, but this was Japan and she was Japanese. It was such a flimsy excuse that even Jirou couldn't convince herself that was the case, let alone the bundle of nerves that was Izuku. Pulling out her phone, she went to speed dial and called the one person that has the highest chance of helping her out in this kind of situation. Hi, Kyo. Nice to hear from you. That person was none other than Mika Jirou, her mother. Hey mom. Sorry I didn't call for a while. I had, Lyricist's block and other stuff to sort out. Blocks come and go to anyone artistically inclined, dear. But, other stuff to sort out, Yeah. I need your help with the other stuff, actually. Oh, my, really? How exciting. Mika giggled like she was back in gossipy old high school again. Yeah. Can I ask you something? Of course, honey. Anything. How can you tell if you know, Jirou groaned internally. The ultimate all-might fanboy's stammering had rubbed off on her. If you want someone as your significant other. Mika finished the question. Yeah. I know Dad always bragged about his tenacity for asking you out until you said yes after a severe case of love at first sight, but this is kinda weird. Weird how? Is this certain someone a girl? You know that your father and I have nothing against that, so you're free to explore. No. It's a guy, okay. Someone in my class that I haven't really talked to at all until these past few days. He's helping me out with hero stuff. This boy, does he by any chance have anything to do with your lyricist's block? Jirou's throat closed up as she tried to answer, resulting in a strange croak. I'm going to take that as a yes. Now then, how has your interaction with this boy you've barely spoken to until recently been affecting your lyric writing? God, how was this woman right on the money every time? Where are you getting all this? Please Kyoka, Mika chuckled, I'm your mother. I'm pretty sure there are some things I know about you that you don't yet know about yourself. So, well, I do some training exercises with them, and after a while, phrases just come to me, and it feels right. I only have 2 verses right now, no title, no chorus, or anything else. I make some changes, but they're super minor. And it feels right. It fits perfectly. Would you mind reciting what you have to me then? Preferably with music. Oh okay. Here goes. And so Jirou did. For about a whole minute, Mika remained silent until she replied, I certainly could be wrong, but, you may actually take after your hopelessly romantic father more than you care to admit. Oh number. No, this can't be happening. Jirou hugged her knees to her chest in despair. Just because I did that can't mean I did what? I kinda, kissed him. Oh, on the cheek. Jirou mumbled. He probably thinks I'm a total weirdo now for doing that. I'm sorry, what? I didn't catch that. Jirou fumed. Oh, stop lying. I know you have 20/20 hearing. I have your quirk, for God's sake. You heard me loud and clear. She could just see her mother sitting on the couch, smirking hard at her with the phone in hand. Well, I certainly could be wrong, but based on what I've heard, I'm pretty convinced that you have fallen for this boy harder than a Bon Jovi bass riff at Kurokuan Hall on live TV. What did I do to deserve this? You make it sound like it's a bad thing. Quite the contrary, Kyo. I'm aware that you're at UA to become a hero, and focusing on your dream and prioritizing is important, and I get it, you didn't plan for this at all. But you must understand something. Just because there is a straight, short path to being a pro hero doesn't mean it's the best path out of them all. There's no rule that says finding love on the way is bad or should be avoided. That shouldn't be the end-all be-all of your existence. You're a human being before you're a hero. Knowing that there's someone you care about in that way out there, and to have someone care about you in the same way can change a lot of things. Change what? How? Exactly. Mika shrugged. That's for you to find out, Kyo. I'm not you, after all. Though whether you do or not is entirely your choice. Can't you at least give me a hint? Jirou begged desperately. Nope. Then what do I do? Tell him the truth. You're always so blatantly honest to your father, I'm sure you'll get it out of the way at max speed. Besides, he may actually like you. You never know, you know. With that, the line disconnected. Jirou sighed, tossing the phone aside and pinching the bridge of her nose. She did say that she was going to finish writing it, letting it run its course. Perhaps that would at least point her in the right direction. She began clicking her jacks together, losing herself in her thoughts, meandering through the recesses of the mind. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.